After school one day, I meet a divine being. It asks me, a perfect score on the national exam, or 75 million in cash. Which do you choose? Are you serious? Every second you hesitate is an insult to that money. With 75 million, who in their right mind would ever sit that exam? And yet, I choose the perfect score. All because the night before the exam I had stumbled onto a post online. The poster asked, cash or a perfect score? I roll my eyes. Another brainless would you rather. I go straight for the keyboard and let them have it. All these people do is make pointless choices all day. If I pick something, are you actually going to give it to me? Then the poster says, go ahead and choose. Give it a shot. I laugh out loud. Does this even need thinking? College graduates are a dime a dozen these days. With 75 million, I could hire 10,000 of them to work for me. Unless, I could be guaranteed a perfect score. Being the top scorer in the nation does sound pretty good. The poster fires back instantly, choose the exam, and a perfect score is guaranteed. On top of that, I will gain brand new abilities, knowledge and skills match to every question on the exam. But there is a catch, I can never tell anyone. The moment I do, the gift disappears. I stare at the screen. This person is laying it on thick. I type back casually, fine, if it is real, I choose the perfect score. If I actually become the top scorer in the nation, even my ancestors would be celebrating from their graves. Then I toss my phone aside and go to sleep. The next morning, the proctor hands out the exam papers. I take one look, and my whole body goes cold. The answers to every single question start flooding into my mind like a burst dam. To be precise, questions I never could have answered before. The moment I glance at them, the perfect answer appears in my head, complete and fully formed. I hold my breath. Then I notice something else. My handwriting, once an absolute disaster, now flows like a master calligrapher's. My eyes go wide. Presentation scores. That has to be it. Even perfect answers lose a point or two on presentation. Now my handwriting is flawless. I blaze through the exam, hand it in, and walk out. Outside, I pull out a pen to test it. I write 3 words. I look amazing. The strokes are stunning. With penmanship like this alone, I could build a career as a celebrated calligrapher. The realization hits me like a wave. Just the language portion of the exam already gave me a skill this extraordinary. What is 75 million compared to this? That afternoon, the math section begins, and I am on fire. Every problem instantly opens up into hundreds of solution paths in my mind, many of them beyond anything I had ever learned, methods that simply do not exist anywhere on Bluestar. When the math exam ends, the exam hall erupts into groaning. I just looked it up. That last question was from Advanced University Mathematics. Is the exam board completely out of their minds? Through the remaining subjects, I breeze through every section. With each exam, more world-changing knowledge floods into my mind. When I am the first one to walk out, the students around me just stare. That guy must have turned in a blank paper. I do not even glance back at them. All I leave behind is the image of someone walking away, calm, unhurried, unreadable. 2 days later, thousands of top teachers sit at their computers grading at full speed. Dean Chen, head of the Southwest Grading Committee, paces the room, warning the team over and over, not a single grading error will be tolerated. One wrong call can change a student's entire life. Barely a moment passes before one of the graders suddenly shoots to her feet. Dean Chen snaps, "What are you doing? Keep it quiet." Grader Aurora looks stunned. "Dean Chen, come look at this. I think this might be a perfect essay." The room falls silent. A perfect essay? Already? Dean Chen leans toward the screen and takes one look. His expression shifts completely. This calligraphy, it is extraordinary. Even if the content were complete garbage, I would still give it top marks for presentation alone. He reads the content, and goosebumps rise all over his arms. In just over 1,000 words, this student captures the full sweep of the Tang Empire's glory and ruin. He suddenly shouts, report it right now. We might be looking at this year's first perfect essay." A few days later, math grading begins. A teacher suddenly cries out, "Something is wrong with this paper. Every answer is correct, but the methods used, none of us can make sense of them." The same scene plays out with every remaining grader who touches my paper. When the results are finally released, I top the nation with a perfect score. The shockwave hits instantly. My classmates drop to their knees in disbelief, screaming, "The universe has gone completely blind." Me, a total slacker who barely showed up, somehow tops the whole nation. But the ones who are even more shaken are the professors on the review board. They cannot figure out how I solved those math problems. No one on Bluestar has ever used methods like these before. Within hours, top universities are scrambling for their phones, each trying to send me an acceptance offer before the others. Back home, my parents are losing their minds. "Honey, have you seen the news? A student named Kai just scored a perfect score on the national exam. Same name as our son." I shuffle out of my bedroom, barely awake. "Is there any chance that Kai is me?" I pull out my phone and check the scores. 750 points. The number nearly blinds them. My dad stares in silence for a long moment, then suddenly bolts out the door. "I need to go check if our ancestors' graves have exploded." I grab both my parents and calm them down. Then I tell them, I am not going to college. My plan is to push the limits, to provoke the exam board into raising the difficulty, and publicly announce I will sit the exam again next year. For everyone else, the national exam is a ticket to university, but for me it is a tool for self-upgrade. Every time I sit that exam, I absorb the knowledge behind every question, enough to become a world-class mathematician or physicist. I think back to all the shameless countries that have thrown up every barrier they can to hold the Tang Empire back. What if the blocked technologies appeared as exam questions? Every lock would break open. Of course, I can never breathe a word of this to anyone. After I promise my parents I will enroll in university after next year's exam, they reluctantly agree. The next morning, a swarm of reporters descends on us. Everyone wants a piece of the story. Close behind them are representatives from the country's top universities, already snapping at each other before they even reach our door. When the three of us step outside, we are completely blindsided by the crowd packed outside. University reps surge forward, surrounding my parents with offers that sound almost unbelievable. Full tuition, guaranteed residency, monthly stipends of $30,000. Aurora steps up and refuses to be outdone. She offers a private research lab and $300,000 a year in funding, and states clearly whether I attend Southwest Academy or not, the funding stands. That lands like a bomb. The reps from Gaewoo University and Shengtang University immediately lose their composure. Playing dirty, are we? Our offer only kicks in if he actually enrolls, and you just walk in here saying the money is his no matter what. Before anyone can recover, I speak, and every single person in that crowd goes completely still. Everyone, I have made my decision. I am repeating the exam next year. Dead silence. What is happening right now? The reporters smell blood. They rush forward. Kai, why does the nation's top scorer refuse to go to college? My eyes light up. That is exactly the question I have been waiting for. Because this year's exam board set the bar embarrassingly low. I hit a perfect score without even reaching half my stride. The interview airs, and the country explodes. Students preparing for next year's exam send me straight to the top of the trending charts. Has this guy lost his mind? Can he act like a normal human being? The exam board's experts are furious. Who does he think he is? Does he seriously believe that is all we are capable of? After the interview wraps up, I count up the prize money from various institutions, 1.5 million total. Once the coverage hits, public opinion explodes again. Netizens say they get it now. With scores like mine, sitting the exam one more time next year is just another easy million. But I could not care less about the keyboard warriors. I have a date with the most beautiful girl on campus, Vivian. We had feelings for each other long before graduation, but she had held back for the sake of the exam. Now that I am the nation's top scorer, we make it official. Just like that, a year flies by. The day of the second national exam arrives. The moment I step near the exam hall, reporters swarm. Kai, what score are you expecting this time? I smile and shake my head. Oh, I will scrape by with a perfect score, I suppose. The reporters are thrilled. One of them already has the headline written in his head. Perfect score genius returns, vows to top the nation again. A second reporter jumps in. Last year you called out the exam board. The experts were furious. This year's paper is reportedly much harder, leaving many students feeling overwhelmed. Is there anything you want to say about that? There is no misunderstanding. I was not targeting the exam board specifically. I just think everyone here is trash. The reporters go completely blank. This guy's arrogance has absolutely no ceiling. Then a reporter spots the beautiful girl standing beside me. The words are out of his mouth before he can stop them. Kai, who is the beautiful girl next to you? I do not even try to hide it. I take Vivian's hand and tell them plainly, she is my girlfriend. Sure enough, gossip is news too. Cameras click rapid fire. A photo like this alone is worth tens of millions of clicks. The exam begins on schedule. Everything I suspected is confirmed. The moment I read each question, the answer appears automatically, error-free. This time, I even switch to a completely different writing style. Still mastery-level calligraphy, enough to found its own school. The two proctors keep stealing glances at me, watching me write at full speed without a single pause. Curiosity gets the better of one of them. He stands up and begins walking the room. When he reaches my desk and sees my paper, he freezes. A 19-year-old with penmanship like this. Is this what a true genius looks like? Then he sees the essay prompt. He finally understands the exam board's masterstroke. This year, students must write a continuation of Dream of the Red Chamber, at least 600 words. The proctor is a devoted fan of the novel himself. He knows exactly how impossible this is. Countless scholars have tried and failed to capture the original spirit. The gap is always enormous. But he watches me pick up my pen and start writing without a moment's hesitation, and his expression keeps shifting, again and again. By the time I fill every last line, his heart is pounding with something he cannot name. When the other students see me turn in my paper early again, they roll their eyes in unison. This attention-seeking show-off again. Does he ever stop flexing? A few days later, the exam ends and the grading committee gets to work. Every single grader agrees. None of them feel qualified to score my essay. With no other option, they escalate it to the expert review panel. Literary heavyweight. Lydia examines my paper, and her eyes go wide with fury. Where is the rest? This clearly was not finished. How does it just stop here? She looks ready to bite someone. As a lifelong devotee of Dream of the Red Chamber, the possibility of a true completion has always felt like an impossible dream, and the exam only gave the student so little paper to work with. Dean Chen rushes over to calm her down. This is a grading session, not a literature seminar. Then very carefully, he asks Lydia, what score does it deserve? Lydia collapses onto the sofa, completely drained. Full marks, she says quietly. Days later, grading finishes and the results drop. I top the nation again. What a surprise. The haters flood the internet, demanding a full investigation into what they call a rigged result. A continuation of Dream of the Red Chamber. There is no way anyone gets a perfect score on that. They demand my essay be made public. Facing the pressure, the Ministry of Education releases it. The moment it goes live, it spreads across every platform within minutes. People read it, and go completely silent. A 19-year-old wrote this? Fans of the novel pour out from everywhere, begging for the full continuation. They have waited their whole lives for this moment. Online opinion swings hard. Fans of the novel charge straight at the haters, until the calligraphy community jumps in and declares that the penmanship alone has already founded a new school of calligraphy, and that in ancient times this would have produced another sage of calligraphy. Then the moment that pushes everything to its peak, the dream of the Red Chamber Society, with Lydia leading the charge and cameras in tow, arrives at my door hoping I will agree to continue the novel as a series. Name my price, they say, because right now, no one else on Blue Star is capable of completing Dream of the Red Chamber the way it deserves. I watch these elders tie themselves in knots over this, and I give in. Right there. In front of everyone, I pick up a pen and write, starting from chapter 81, all the way to the end. When I finish, Lydia holds the manuscript like it is the rarest treasure in existence. Publish it, please. Whatever you need, the society will make it happen. I shake my head calmly. I wrote it to be read. Just go through the standard publishing process. Then I add, but I do need a small favor. Lydia is in the best mood she has been in for years. Name it. If it is within my power, I will not say no. What she does not expect is that my request is for her to go lobby the exam board and push for harder questions in next year's national exam. Lydia stares at me, words stuck in her throat. Just how hard do you want these questions to be? Why are you so obsessed with fighting the exam? She is furious on the inside, but does not dare say it out loud. She forces a smile and says she will try. Shortly after, both sides agree the full continuation is sold outright for $50 million. At the same time, the clip of me demanding harder exams goes viral, and the internet turns on me. Official bodies respond immediately, calling me reckless and arrogant, with no respect for the vastness of learning. Then, 3 days later, the continuation of Dream of the Red Chamber hits shelves, and sells out instantly. It is a massive slap in the face that sends every hater crawling into silence. Meanwhile, Victor, one of the Tang Empire's most powerful financial titans, sits alone, holding the book, quietly moved to tears. This kid Kai is something else, so young, and he writes like this. He tells his secretary to look into Kai immediately. Minutes later, the secretary sends back an interview clip. When Victor sees his daughter Vivian appear on screen, his eyelid starts twitching violently. His jaw drops. The secretary braces for an outburst, and takes a quiet step back. But Victor just says, this kid has already come this far, and he still has not come to pay his respects to his future father-in-law? He tells the secretary to clear his schedule and arrange a meeting with his daughter. Shortly after, Vivian and Victor sit down for dinner at a luxury hotel. Victor's expression darkens. Kai, is he your boyfriend? Vivian senses danger and rushes to explain how impressive Kai is, how hard he works. Victor raises a hand to cut her off. Hard-working. Good. He should be. Otherwise, how would he ever be worthy of being my son-in-law? You better start calling him your husband. Vivian short-circuits completely. Victor pours her a cup of hot water, rolls his eyes, and says calmly, do not overthink it. I approve of this young man. But there is one condition. What condition? Vivian narrows her eyes, instantly suspicious. Victor lets out a long sigh. Daughters always end up on their husband's side. He pauses. I said I approve of the boy, but he has already won over my daughter. Shouldn't he at least bring a gift for his future father-in-law? What kind of gift? Nothing much, Victor says, clearing his throat. He wrote that continuation of Dream of the Red Chamber, didn't he? Could I have the copy he wrote by hand? Vivian's first instinct is that something is off. She knows her father's angles all too well. I obviously want it for a good reason. Just tell me yes or no. Victor holds his ground. Vivian says this is not her call to make. She will have to ask Kai. Victor agrees without hesitation. She turns to leave, and he quickly calls after her. Be nice about it. Do not upset that fine young man of mine. Vivian suddenly wonders if she is actually adopted. Back home, she tells me everything. I just shake my head with a smile. I didn't expect Uncle Victor to find out already. As for the manuscript, I already gave it to you, Viv. It is yours now. Who you give it to, what you do with it, that is entirely up to you. I pull Vivian close and kiss her before adding, you really do not have to do all this. We are equals, aren't we? We are, she says, but I still wanted your blessing. She exhales with relief and kisses me back. It is such a good thing you said yes. Now there is nothing standing in our way. We go together to meet Victor. Things start off just fine, until Victor clears his throat. So, when are you two making it official? Vivian spits her tea straight onto Victor. Dad! I knew Victor was on board, I just did not realize he had fully surrendered. Uncle Victor, we are only 19. Right, what was I thinking? Victor smacks his forehead. Too young for that, but we can still hold a banquet. When can we get both families together and set a date? Let us make this official. Dad, Vivian panics. What father rushes to marry off his daughter like this? Even if I am completely on board, you cannot just say things like that. Victor gently waves her off. Patience. I know this looks hasty, but a young man this exceptional, if we do not lock it in fast, what if something changes? What if someone else swoops in and takes him? I honestly have no idea how to respond to any of this. I do my best to calm this very enthusiastic man down, then make up an excuse and drag Vivian out of there. Not long after, the national exam results drop again. I top the nation with a perfect score. Again. Every elite university extends an offer. I turn them all down. I go even further and publicly declare the exam was too easy, and challenge the exam board to bring something harder next time. Because what I am actually doing is using this process to unlock the technologies being blocked from the Tang Empire. But I can never say that out loud. The moment I do, the gift disappears. So the internet decides I am just impossibly arrogant. People even show up outside outside my house demanding answers. But I am thinking on a whole new level now. I take the 50 million from the novel, buy a luxury villa, and shut the world out, until a devastating piece of news breaks. Eagle-class flight YH739 has gone missing. 261 Tang Empire passengers are unaccounted for. If the exam board steps up and gives me the right questions to unlock new skills, locating the wreckage should not be impossible. Around the same time, the Ministry of Education issues key updates to the coming year's national exam. First, questions must reflect real-world events and current affairs. Second, the limit on answer sheets is removed. Students may request as many sheets as needed, ensuring no essay is ever cut short mid-sentence again. The year 5013 national exam begins. I can feel the sharp stares from every direction, because I personally forced this exam to get harder. The more they resent me, the better I feel. A few decades from now, some of these very students might actually end up sitting on the exam board themselves, while I am still here, showing up year after year. As students file into the hall, the proctors take their positions. The papers are handed out. Both students and proctors look at me with something close to reverence. I ignore every single one of them and get to work. The language section flows easily, until I read the essay prompt and feel a wave of disappointment. Optimizing postpartum care for sows. Not exactly inspiring, but the challenge is middling at best. I pick up the math paper with high hopes, and feel the same deflation, only slightly harder than last year, but the next day brings something different. Buried in the physics paper is one question that makes me sit up. Assuming flight YH739 has crashed, use your knowledge of physics to analyze the most probable crash site. This is a bonus question, worth 1 point. Every other student goes pale reading this. I am the only one smiling. The moment to give back to this nation has finally arrived. I feel it. A massive wave of new knowledge flooding into my mind, the sheer volume staggering. It includes designs for a submersible capable of reaching 20,000 meters depth, a vessel that does not yet exist anywhere on Blue Star. My whole body trembles with excitement. From a single question, I receive enough technology to change everything. I hit the jackpot. Then a thought flashes through me. Could this be exactly what is needed to find the wreckage? But right now, the real world still has no answers. When the exam ends, every student debates where the plane went down. No consensus, no official answer. 2 weeks later, scores are released. 749. I wrote the correct answer, and they still docked me a point. Fine, I will prove it myself. Online, everyone is mocking me, saying I have finally run out of tricks. Reporter Bianca comes to my home for a live-streamed interview. Her professionalism is sharp. Her voice warm and precise. Less than 30 seconds after going live, viewership breaks 1 million. Her first question, how did you feel your performance went this year? I answer without missing a beat. Consistent. The comment section erupts. You talk yourself up constantly, so why didn't you get a perfect score? I look straight at the comments and fire back. Whoever just asked that? Who told you I did not? Bianca and every viewer freeze. Who told me? Nobody had to. The official result is public. The highest score in the nation is 749. Are you saying there is something higher? I reply, the grading committee made an error. My answer was correct. They simply did not verify it. Once I locate the crash site, my answer proves itself. The internet detonates. At the exam board celebration dinner, one member happens to be watching the live stream. He slams his glass down. The nerve. Is this guy for real? Who does he think he is? I look directly into the camera and say without blinking, flight YH739 lies at the deepest point of the Jordia Trench. Bianca blinks, then snaps back to reality. That is the deepest ocean trench on Blue Star. Did he just say he will go down there and prove it himself? Can he actually reach 20,000 meters below the surface? After the interview ends, the whole internet laughs at me, saying I have lost my mind. What they do not know, I may not be able to build a submersible myself, but my future father-in-law Victor is not someone to be underestimated. 3 days later, Vivian and I fly to Shen City, home to some of the Tang Empire's largest shipbuilding companies. When Victor hears I want to start a company and build something, he hands me an entire building to use as a lab. I stand in front of the team and announce Apex Tech's first project, build a next-generation deep-sea submersible and retrieve the aircraft from the trench. The moment the project leaks, the internet loses it. Some people accuse me of exploiting a tragedy for attention, but netizens quickly discover that Apex Tech already holds hundreds of patents, technology that has left even the world's most advanced foreign companies stunned. 3 months after Apex Tech is founded, the submersible is fully assembled and ready for testing. Something that can go where no one else can go. We name it Leviathan 1. The engine roars to life. Within moments, it reaches 78 meters per second in descent. The test crew can barely process it. This thing is supposed to be diving, not hitting highway speeds. Does it think water resistance does not exist? Right at that moment, Leviathan 1 sends back a warning signal. It has detected a foreign submarine lurking in our waters. I immediately issue the order to scan and analyze the submarine's data. At the same time, 3 destroyer ships on the surface are on patrol and suddenly pick up a signal from below. Who is scanning us? We have been locked on. Where is it coming from? Find it immediately. Their sonar and radar sweep the ocean. Nothing. Then the communications officer reports, Admiral, we have received a contact request from the signal source. Admiral Shu exhales slowly. If this were a hostile submarine, it would not reach out to us. We report back to Admiral Shu, explaining that during our test dive we had stumbled onto something unexpected. A foreign submarine had been lurking in Tang Empire waters. Once the destroyers receive the precise coordinates, Admiral Shu gives the order to move in. Inside the foreign submarine, Commander Ace smiles confidently. The Tang Empire's radar is decades behind. We can move around freely, and they will never detect us. Then 3 red blips appear on his radar. Ace's smile disappears instantly. We are surrounded. How did their equipment find us? But before they can move, they are already locked inside an anti-submarine net. The rest is no longer my concern. The full test runs for 3 days. Leviathan 1 performs flawlessly. Apex Tech announces a live-streamed dive to the bottom of the Jordea Trench to search for the wreckage of Flight YH739. The internet erupts. The moment the livestream goes live, viewers flood in. In under 10 minutes, viewership breaks 5 million. The hatch seals. Leviathan 1 sinks into the ocean and descends at incredible speed. Once it passes 8,000 meters, life around it becomes almost non-existent. Back on the surface, major players keep showing up. Even the Tang Empire's National Space Group announces it wants to partner with Apex Tech. Then the livestream jolts. Something massive is trailing Leviathan 1 at a steady pace. When the submersible turns to face it, viewers finally get a clear look. A shark close to 20 meters long, rows of jagged teeth, an ancient terror of the deep. The comment section panics. I ignore all of it. With a calm smile, I press a red button. A beam of violet light fires from the underside of Leviathan 1. The massive shark dissolves instantly into a cloud of red mist. Watching the livestream, senior foreign Navy officers go pale. That electromagnetic cannon, the power is unreal. Deploy 3 carrier groups immediately and seize that submersible. And it is not just the foreign Navy. Admiral Shu receives orders from command. Mobilize the full Tang Empire naval force at maximum speed. Leviathan 1 cannot fall into foreign hands. But deep beneath the ocean, I know none of this. I keep heading for the deepest point of the trench. Then the camera picks up something on the seafloor. Viewers gasp. The wreckage of Flight YH739 is right there. As the entire livestream erupts, an urgent internal message appears on my screen. The Tang Empire Navy reports that a large number of foreign warships and submarines have gathered above the trench, with hostile intentions toward Leviathan 1. The Tang Empire Navy is holding them off, and will do everything in its power to protect me and the vessel. The moment that message hits the screen, viewers go cold. What is this? Are they actually about to go to war? At the same time, the foreign fleets on the surface begin accelerating. Admiral Shu is furious and frightened. We cannot fire first. The consequences would be severe. He orders the fleet, short of opening fire, do whatever it takes to hold them back. Inside Leviathan 1, I am burning with rage. One thought takes shape in my mind. Give me 3 years, and the Tang Empire's fleet will rule every ocean. But alongside the fury, there is grief. If any of our sailors are hurt because of this, they will pay for it in full. On the surface, both sides are at the breaking point. Interceptor weapons roar, desperately knocking back incoming missiles. But the gap in firepower is overwhelming. Admiral Shu's ships will not hold for 3 minutes. In a naval operations center somewhere, an elder slams his fist and roars, "Get the Dragon's Fist missile system ready. If they do not cease fire in 10 seconds, we strike back with everything we have." At the same time, urgent alarm sirens suddenly blare inside every foreign warship. Commanders shout, "Cease fire! Pull back! We have been locked by the Dragon's Fist system." And because of this incident, the submersible I developed draws a stampede of industry titans, placing 30 billion in orders in a single wave. With that kind of money pouring in, I make the announcement with maximum fanfare. All employee salaries are tripled, weekends fully off, and anyone who works overtime gets fired. The cleaning lady, when she hears she will earn 20,000 a month, immediately calls her daughter to come apply for a janitorial position. Right on cue, an expert publishes an article, blasting the wages as too high and damaging to the work ethic of young people. I see the article and respond publicly. Apex Tech has money to spare, and anyone with real drive is welcome to join. This move flips public opinion completely. People who were sending hate just days ago are now fans. Kai, you are a legend. Meanwhile, the long silent exam board is dragged back into the spotlight. Director Stark had once promised, on record, that no one would ever achieve a perfect score. Then I went underwater and proved him wrong. His face has been stinging ever since. Director Stark feels a surge of blind fury rising in his chest. I refuse to believe it. Next year I am putting unsolved mathematical conjecture problems on that exam. Let us see Kai solve those. Meanwhile, I am meeting with General Wu, who hopes Apex Tech will enter into a deep partnership with the military to develop a carrier strike group surpassing anything the foreign navy has. Whatever I need, he says, name it. They will even give me a military commission if I want. I listen to the full proposal and break into a cold sweat. They really do think highly of me. But the problem is, I genuinely do not know how to build a carrier. After a moment's thought, I put forward 2 conditions. General Wu, you know I sit the national exam every year. What I need next year is for the military to step in and get some questions about carrier technology onto that exam. I will answer them. General Wu is speechless for a moment. What kind of condition is that? Our military research institutes spend hundreds of billions a year, and you want a national exam question? I admit my situation is unusual, but an opportunity like this is too good to waste. General Wu finally agrees. One relevant question will appear on next year's exam. I press forward with my second condition. If I successfully deliver on the carrier technology technology, I need General Wu to help me obtain a defense research license. After further discussion, the military representatives leave Apex Tech. An aide cannot hold back. He asks General Wu why he agreed to any of this. General Wu smiles with quiet confidence. The national exam has been reformed, hasn't it? A 1-point bonus question submitted under the military's name. The Ministry of Education will not say no. And if Kai truly helps the Navy break through, 1 defense license is nothing. We would give him 30. I watch General Wu walk away, quietly hoping next year's exam brings something truly challenging. Something like, how would Blue Star defend itself against an extinction-level alien attack? At that rate, we would end up dominating the entire galaxy. Shortly after, the military contacts Director Stark, and the representative explains the purpose of the visit. They want the exam board to include a 1-point bonus question on the physics paper. When Director Stark sees the question the military has provided, he is furious internally. Are these people out of their minds? If anyone could actually answer this, it would change the world. But this is supposed to be a high school exam. The military makes it clear. Upper Command has approved this. It is an order, not a suggestion. Director Stark has no choice but to comply. Soon, my 4th national exam is about to begin. This time, I am here to become a legend. When I arrive at the exam hall, it is already packed. Reporters everywhere. No way through. Online, betting pools have opened up on whether I will score a perfect score again. When the exam begins, the language, math, and foreign language sections are all completely unremarkable. Students relax. Looks like there will be no surprises this year. But when the combined science paper arrives, the final biology question stops everyone cold. How should cancer be treated? Their heads are buzzing. Countless experts have spent decades on this. And now you are asking high school students, who do they think we are? At least it is only worth 1 point. Most students leave it blank. I write 3 words on my paper, I can cure it. Then I add a general outline of the treatment approach. Since no specific condition was given, I cannot prescribe a specific method. That afternoon, the physics paper is handed out. Students immediately start cursing under their breath. Proctor, come look at this question. They want us to map out the research pathway for unlimited future energy. Right at that moment, a sharp pain tears through my mind, and controlled nuclear fusion technology floods in all at once. This is going to rewrite everything. These 2 technologies together will launch a new energy era immediately. And when that happens, the Tang Empire's rivals will no longer be limited to foreign navies. We will be dealing with civilizations beyond Blue Star. I raise my hand to signal the proctor and ask for more answer sheets. The proctor asks naturally how many I need. I signal her to bring more. The proctor asks how many. 200. My voice echoes through the room. Every student stares at me in disbelief. Are you writing the blueprint for a nuclear weapon? What follows is a sight the proctor will never forget for the rest of her life. A pen in each hand and one held in my mouth, writing across 3 answer sheets simultaneously, at a speed that looks like a blur. This time I do not hand in early. I write until the very last second when the bell rings. As I walk out holding over 200 answer sheets, every student has the same thought. Is this person even human? The 2 proctors collect the papers with expressions of pure shock, because my physics answer sheets are filled with nothing less than a complete roadmap for controlled nuclear fusion. Suddenly, the exam hall doors burst open. A squad of fully armed soldiers storms in. The officer leading them is calm and well-spoken. He states that my answer sheets are classified as state secrets, and that Upper Command has authorized the military to take custody. At military headquarters, General Wu raises his hand and gives the order. Deploy the entire Special Operations Brigade to surround the building. Once the answer sheets arrive, no one leaves without his direct authorization. Anyone who tries will be stopped on the spot. When the researchers begin reading through the answer sheets, they completely lose their minds. This is controlled nuclear fusion. If verified, we will be 5 generations ahead of every foreign power. But how is any of this written on a national exam answer sheet? Just how far has this exam gone? A few days later, I decide to build a company dedicated to nuclear energy research. At the same time, General Wu catches wind of it and shows up unannounced. On behalf of the military, he delivers a defense research license and confirms that the military is backing this nuclear energy project. With multiple major players coming together, a company valued at over $1 trillion is born. Following General Wu's vision, a company valued at over $1 trillion emerges from nothing. According to General Wu's plan, once nuclear fusion is achieved, the next step is a space-capable carrier. All in one leap. Leo mutters a few words on the side, questioning whether the data is real. Nobody listens. The researchers have all gone completely wild. Outsiders see the spectacle. Those who know what it means. They have only read less than 1% of the material, but already they can tell this is not made up. Every detail has a traceable foundation. In other words, based on what they have seen so far, this is genuine nuclear fusion, actual controlled nuclear fusion technology. As researchers who have dedicated their entire careers to this field, who have not even fully mastered nuclear fission, suddenly seeing fusion technology laid out in front of them, how could they not go wild? Verify it, fast. I need to see it. Let me through. Do not block me. Controlled nuclear fusion. We have to protect every single piece of this. Supercomputer access. I need to file for supercomputer clearance. We do not have enough people. Hey, General Wu, Leo, get more people in here right now. The experts we have are nowhere near enough. Pull in every nuclear specialist in the country. Every single one. I am not sleeping until this is done. Zen, you are over 70. Do not kill yourself. Let me handle this. Someone, anyone, go get my things. Starting today, I am living here. General Wu, Leo, Owen, Logan, and the rest of them. Well then. All of you so polite and composed on a normal day, all just an act apparently. So this is who you really are. General Wu's mouth twitches. He glances at Logan. Logan blinks. What? General Wu laughs and snaps. Stop standing there and move. At this moment, he is buzzing with excitement on the inside. General Wu grins and repeats, move. And inside, he cannot contain the excitement. He may not understand the technology himself, but these experts do. And if they are this excited, what does that tell you? Isn't it obvious? The entire room erupts with heat and energy. Every answer sheet in their hands is treated like a priceless artifact, all except the first one. Since it contains only standard exam answers, nobody pays it any attention. It gets set aside. Once everyone is convinced that the remaining sheets are almost certainly genuine controlled nuclear fusion research data, they all lose it completely, shoving and crowding in. Professor Zen, the chief expert, is getting on in years, and simply cannot push through the crowd. He manages to squeeze halfway in, only to get shoved back out again. He is barely holding back a roar. You ungrateful lot, you show me nothing but respect every other day, and now you are throwing me under the bus the moment you do not need me? Move, let me through, I need to see this. But everyone has gone completely feral. No one hears him. He stamps his feet, his white beard trembling with fury, but there is nothing he can do. Then, in that moment, he spots the first answer sheet that everyone had ignored. He picks it up out of curiosity. The first page, nothing remarkable. The second page, also nothing. But then, wait. Professor Zen freezes. What is this? Treatment of cancer? What? The moment he says it out loud, General Wu snaps to attention. Cancer treatment? What are you talking about? It says so right here on the answer sheet. Professor Zen moves closer and hands it to General Wu and the others. Look at this. General Wu stares at it, completely lost. So the exam board has been at it too. They actually put cancer treatment on the exam? Leo starts to comment. General Wu cuts him off. You are not exactly better. He looks back at the sheet. This answer, what do you make of it? After a brief pause, General Wu turns to Professor Zen. Professor Zen furrows his brow slightly. My background is nuclear physics. I know relatively little about biochemistry, and even less about medicine. My field is nuclear physics. Biochemistry is limited, and medicine even more so. At the current level of medical science, treating cancer is nearly impossible, especially in the mid to late stages. Outside of a few specific types, it is almost always fatal. And even if treatment were possible, it could not be this straightforward. The 5 elements and yin-yang of traditional medicine. This is too abstract, not scientific. There is no established basis for this. His shock is not about the quality of the answer. It is that such a question was on the exam at all. But why is any of this written on a national exam answer sheet? Because it was this year's exam question. General Wu answers. Professor Zen is stunned. This year's national exam question? Just how far has this exam gone? It has gone completely off the rails. General Wu says, his mouth twitching. When exactly did the national exam become like this? It seems to have started the moment Kai appeared. The second year was manageable, just a continuation of Dream of the Red Chamber. But starting from last year, things got strange. This year, nuclear fusion and cancer treatment. As one of the people responsible for this, even he finds it absurd. But Kai asked for it himself. General Wu does not know whether to laugh or cry. Professor Zen says nothing more. After a brief moment of silence, he finally shoulders his way into the crowd and joins the others in analyzing and debating the nuclear fusion data. General Wu, however, stays behind, brow furrowed, quietly turning over the answer sheet about cancer treatment in his hands, saying nothing for a long time. Finally, he turns to Logan. Go get Master Pu. Master Pu? Logan looks mildly surprised. Master Pu, full name Pu Shisan, is one of the Tang Empire's most revered traditional medicine practitioners. After retiring a few years ago, he stopped seeing outside patients. He was brought in here to serve the leadership, handling everyday health matters, general wellness and recovery. Serving the leadership here. Whenever there are common ailments, health maintenance and the like, he handles it all. Since his arrival, the senior leaders have been visibly healthier than before. Everyone holds Master Pu in the highest regard, and fully trusts his skill. Logan gets it now. Is this in case the experts get too worked up, and someone has a heart episode, a stroke, or a burst blood vessel? General Wu blinks. You make a good point. Get 2 emergency medical teams in here as well. Logan just stares. Did I actually get that right? About an hour later, Master Pu arrives. General Wu pulls him aside, away from the chaos of the researchers, and shows him the content on the answer sheet. Master Pu, what do you think of the student's answer? Master Pu does not respond immediately. He reads it carefully, quietly, all the way through. Then he lets out a long, slow breath. The answer is excellent. As things stand today, this approach has the highest probability of success. But the difficulty is enormous. General Wu looks up, puzzled. He trusts Master Pu completely. But what does difficulty mean here? Yes, enormous difficulty. Theoretically, this answer has no flaws. But the problem lies in finding someone with the skill to apply it. A practitioner of this caliber, of such pure, authentic traditional medicine, is extraordinarily rare. How many traditional medicine doctors in this country could actually do this? Master Pu sighs. 10 years ago, perhaps 20, 30 years ago, over 100. But now, as far as I know, including myself, we cannot even count 5 in the whole country. General Wu is stunned. That few. But we have been developing traditional medicine for years. More colleges, more programs. Master Pu shakes his head. It is a drop in the ocean. And at the root of the problem, since you genuinely want to understand, let me be straight with you. Out of 10,000 students in traditional medicine colleges, not even one may truly master the craft. It is not that it cannot be learned. It is that the demands on natural talent and personal depth are extraordinarily high. Growth only comes through constant real practice. And practice opportunities are scarce. Not just undergraduates, even doctoral graduates. How many can honestly say they are truly capable once they finish? That is why the master-apprentice tradition remains the best path. For example, a master takes on a student starting with copying prescriptions. But it is never just copying. The master asks questions, reads the pulse, while the student watches and listens closely. Then the student tries taking the pulse themselves. They observe. The master writes the prescription. The student copies it. After copying, they go back and read the pulse again, cross-checking, reinforcing. Throughout all of this, they are also studying classical texts, learning pharmacology, learning acupuncture, and this process typically spans 20 to 30 years. Even the most gifted students need 10 to 20 years before they reach even a basic level of competence. But in today's world, under today's conditions, who has the patience to commit for that long? People still need to eat. They still need to support their families. And even if money were no issue, studying traditional medicine is mind-numbingly tedious at its core. Very few can endure it. And beyond all of that, there are two more major problems. Two more serious problems. General Wu is taken aback. Before this conversation, he had no idea traditional medicine was this difficult. Not just in the learning, but with two additional external obstacles. Yes, two big ones. First, the herbs. The medicinal materials available today, not to say they are outright fake, but inferior substitutes are everywhere. Insufficient growing time, inadequate potency, wrong growing regions. The problems go on and on. All of it drastically weakens the effectiveness of any prescription. Second, the westernization of traditional medicine. Our practice is built on restoring balance and eliminating what does not belong, guided by the harmony of the five elements and yin-yang. But this is too abstract for many, too intangible. Many practitioners have drifted toward the five elements and yin-yang framework, but found it too intangible. So many students, many practitioners themselves, cannot make sense of it and do not believe in it. So instead, they memorize. They learn prescriptions by rote. And how do they prescribe? They look at modern medical test results. But modern medical diagnostics and the traditional method of observing, listening, asking, and pulse reading are completely different systems. The shift from pattern-based diagnosis to symptom-based treatment, one small change, worlds apart. Under these conditions, healing becomes a matter of luck. If you get lucky and the prescription fits, it works. If not, at best the symptoms worsen. At worst, it is licensed negligence. Take white tiger decoction, commonly used to bring down high fever. They know it reduces fever. What they forget is that in traditional medicine, high fever has two distinct types, heat-based and cold-based. Without proper pattern-based diagnosis, if the remedy aligns with the wrong pattern, it only adds fuel to the fire, making the condition dramatically worse. At this point, Master Pu shakes his head, heavy with sorrow. The westernization of traditional medicine is widespread, and it is one of the greatest obstacles to its revival. Modern medicine is genuinely valuable. Its diagnostic tools are useful, and traditional practitioners can and should look at them, use them as reference, but not as the basis for prescribing. Too many practitioners have forgotten this, let alone progress. Many have forgotten how to properly diagnose at all. How can you heal anyone that way, let alone treat or even stabilize cancer, keeping it from spreading? Even I began studying medicine under my father at the age of 6. Classical texts were never out of my hands. 70 years of this, and I still would not claim I can cure anything and everything. I can only say, there is a chance. General Wu understands now. His brow tightens. Is there any way to change this? He is a military man, this is not his business. But right now he genuinely wants to stick his nose where it does not belong, just this once. This is not my place, but he cannot help himself. And that is exactly how the five animals Qigong enters the picture. Early morning. In the small courtyard outside the villa, Vivian practices alongside Kai. Within just a few minutes, every muscle in her body is aching, and she cannot help but wonder, her fitness is not bad, and these movements do not look that intense. So why is she this exhausted? Right, the five animals Qigong strengthens the body from the inside out. It is genuinely good for you, Kai says with a smile. Do it every day. You will get used to it. Come on, let's head to the office. Big things to do today. The new project needs to be formally launched. Online, the 2 bonus questions from this year's national exam are still generating enormous heat. Countless people are debating them. Even international commenters have joined in. But Kai has not said a word about any of it, and has no intention of engaging. An hour later, at the office, Kai, Vivian, and Ms. Zhang gather. Boss Kai, should we bring Leo's team in as well? No need, Kai waves his hand. Leo's team can stay focused on the shipyard for now. We do not need them on this yet. We will bring them in when the time comes. You are here because I need you to help set this up. Of course, Boss Kai. Go ahead. Ms. Zhang sits upright, hands already positioned on the keyboard, ready to record everything. But Kai is serious. What he is about to build could genuinely push the world forward by an entire era. Technology like this, not even the smallest detail can be casually disclosed. If it is, the consequences will be serious. And Kai is certain he has already been watched for some time. They may not know what he is planning next, but everything connected to Leviathan 1, those people want it. If he is not careful, If he puts any of this data on a computer connected to the internet, they could stumble onto it and walk away with it. Of course, even connected to the internet, it is still very possible they could stumble onto it and take it. Of course, even if they did, they would not be able to make use of it quickly. But why give them the chance? Those people are not to be trusted, especially the foreign ones. They will always have their own agenda. Ms. Zhang tenses up the moment she hears this. Set up the highest specification biophysics chemistry laboratory you can find. Highest specification, cost is not a concern. If you are unsure what equipment is needed, contact the relevant experts and ask. Pay their consulting fees, no problem. Next, help me contact materials suppliers. I will give you the list shortly. And if any of those suppliers are foreign companies, once the price is agreed, move at maximum speed. Import as much as possible before anyone can react. Because we may only get one window. Ms. Zhang's expression shifts. Wait, actually, hold on. Kai suddenly realizes something. Those companies may simply refuse to sell to Apex Tech and use it as leverage, which is almost guaranteed given that Kai has already managed to offend most of the world's top foreign tech companies. Now trying to import materials from them. If they do not make it difficult, it would be a miracle. Even if the number of items needing import is small, in theory. What if we bring in a few partner companies? Vivian suggests. Have them import under their own names. That should work, right? That works. Kai nods. Partners are absolutely necessary. The Leviathan project series already needed powerful backers to clear obstacles. And what Kai is building this time, nuclear fusion support technology, without partners, Apex Tech simply cannot hold this alone. Even adding both the Yingtian City Financial Group and the Huafu Group would not be enough. Without bringing the government on board, this will not hold. That matter can be set aside for now, handled later. For materials that do not need to be imported, standard procurement is fine. Then, Kai turns to Vivian with a smile. Can you reach out to Uncle Victor for me? Ask if he is interested in getting involved this time. And check in with Uncle Rex as well. As for what it is, do not say anything just yet. Just ask if they are willing to come on board. They will have investment and dividend rights, but no say in how things are run. As for the terms, Kai thinks for a moment. 100 billion Tang Empire dollars for 10% equity. Technically that is a steal. Once this project matures, it will be worth far more than $1 trillion. But right now, there is nothing concrete yet, just his word, and he is already pinning $1 trillion level valuation on a brand new project. That is already a stretch. Any higher, and even Victor might need to come to him for a loan, and nobody prices a project at its peak valuation before it is even started. Besides, they are not just putting in money, they have to contribute effort and resources as well. On top of that, Kai's own capital is genuinely not enough. Even though Apex Tech has been raking in money by the truckload lately, it depends entirely on what that money is for. For most things, it would be enough. But for truly cutting-edge technology, throwing in 1 or 200 billion would not even make a sound. Even in the chip industry, 1 or 200 billion, or even 500 billion, $1 trillion, might produce nothing. The only reason Kai can even attempt this is that he already holds the core technology. He does not have to build from zero, so the capital required, while enormous, is not impossible. Otherwise, developing nuclear fusion from scratch, $1 trillion would not scratch the surface. Some breakthroughs cannot be forced by money alone. Era defining, 100 billion for 10%. Ms. Zhang goes pale. What kind of era are we talking about? 100 billion, 10%. Ms. Zhang stares. What kind of project is this? The early stage valuation is already over $1 trillion? If anyone else had said this, she would have written it off instantly. Pure bluster, trying to extract money. But it is Kai saying it, so she just feels stunned. Ms. Zhang, go in person to the relevant government office, apply for all licenses and permits the new project requires. Understood, Boss Kai. What category of license and permit are we applying for? Energy, Kai says, narrowing his eyes slightly. Nuclear energy, nuclear fusion. The name Apex Energy. It will be the second subsidiary under Apex Tech. Why not Apex Nuclear? Because what I know is not limited to nuclear energy. There is more advanced technology beyond that. Technology that Blue Star's current capabilities cannot yet produce. But in time, that may change. Nuclear energy. Ms. Zhang's jaw drops. Her whole body is trembling with excitement, goosebumps erupting across every inch of her skin. Then, a thought hits her. She looks up in shock. Boss Kai, does that mean you scored a perfect score again this year? Nuclear energy, and nuclear fusion on top of that. No wonder the valuation starts at over $1 trillion. With technology like this, if it actually works, $1 trillion is nothing. Kai just smiles. Probably. Ms. Zhang freezes completely. For a moment she nearly forgets how to breathe. Then another thought crashes in. If he scored a perfect score, that means the other bonus question. Boss Kai also. Oh no. Her mind goes completely blank. Even with everything she has witnessed, she cannot stay composed right now. A moment later, Ms. Zhang leaves, but Kai notices the spot where she was sitting has left a faint damp mark. The seat of the chair, the backrest, even the edge of the desk. Damp marks, including under the seat itself, the backrest, and across the desk surface. But this is not what it sounds like. She was simply so overwhelmed with excitement that she broke into a full sweat, soaking right through her clothes. I am going to call Dad. Vivian kisses Kai and leaves the office with a bright smile. She had been just as stunned a moment ago, even though Kai had told her all of this before. Watching him command the room with that absolute confidence still pulls her in completely. She is lost in it, captivated, exhilarated, barely able to contain herself. She is afraid of what she might do if she stays any longer. Kai stretches lazily and pulls out his phone. He finds Logan's number and calls, switched off. That is strange. He tries General Wu, Leo and Owen next, all of them, unreachable. What is going on? Kai is puzzled. This is technology we built together. If they had not put that question on the exam, I never would have unlocked it. So they cannot have blocked me. Must be something urgent instead. Kai thinks it over. That feels far more likely. So he decides to send Ms. Zhang to make contact with the Navy in person and reach them offline. Meanwhile, at an upscale club, Rex and Victor are enjoying themselves. Since their last collaboration, the two have grown much closer, getting together whenever they have time. Suddenly, Victor's phone rings. Ignore it, Rex suggests. Not a chance. Victor glances at the screen. It is his daughter calling. He cannot ignore that. Quiet, my daughter is calling. Rex immediately perks up and goes completely still, leaning in to listen. Hello, sweetheart. Kai's new project? Interested in investing? Absolutely. Just a few quick exchanges. Victor's face lights up. Interested in investing? Absolutely. In just those few words, Victor is beaming, practically bouncing in his seat. Rex, who had been lounging peacefully enjoying his massage, had only been casually eavesdropping. But now he freezes. He snaps upright and immediately waves off both massage attendants, then closes the distance to Victor in one stride and presses up against him to hear every word. 100 billion Tang Empire dollars, 10%, contact Rex. Sure, he is right here. Wait for my good news. A few more words, and the call ends. Victor shudders and shoves Rex away. Back off. I am not interested in men, like I am. Rex rolls his eyes. You heard everything, didn't you? Victor does not bother responding. Good. Saves me the explanation. 100 billion, 10%. How much we each put in is between us. If the funds fall short, we can bring in other trustworthy domestic investors scaled proportionally. But the condition stands. No say in operations whatsoever. Dividends only, plus certain agreed obligations. So, are you in? Victor picks up his premium tea, takes a slow sip, and smiles calmly. Rex laughs. Eagle, do you think I am stupid? Victor raises an eyebrow. The valuation seems outrageous. If Rex does not want in, fine. Victor is not going to push. He is about to say his goodbye when Rex adds, only a fool would pass. In all the years since Wafu Group started climbing, I have made countless investments. But one this fast, this clean, and this effortless. The Apex Marine project was the only one. Kai's ability, I have seen it firsthand. His character speaks for itself. 100 billion for 10%, you do not need a brain to figure out this is going to be enormous. If I can get 10% of this, you do not even need to think about it. If I do not invest, I deserve to have my head examined. Victor looks mildly surprised. You have that much liquid? I would have to sell off all my futures and positions, maybe squeeze out 70 billion in liquid cash at most. I do not have it either, Rex says, spreading his hands. But I can sell. Sell properties, sell commercial spaces, discount them if I have to. Raising money is easy. Discounted sales, that is how much I believe in your son-in-law. Do not act humble after stealing the deal, Victor snaps. Rex fires right back. Your son-in-law is impressive. Good for you. What does that have to do with anything? Let me tell you, the only reason I do not have a son-in-law like that is because I had a son, and an unambitious one at that. If I had a daughter, even if she were not a beauty, I would have spent hundreds of millions on surgery and competed with you for that young man. Well then, you never had a chance. Victor tilts his head back. My daughter is all natural, and there is no what if. Rex is practically hopping with indignation. Soon, both men begin liquidating their holdings, and the process triggers 2 waves of market turbulence. Victor dumps close to 30 billion in futures in one shot, sending the futures market into a frenzy. Prices crater. Retail investors panic. A wave of them starts selling too, and eventually it spills over into other financial institutions and major players, all cursing under their breath, because they are holding these futures and cannot just watch the price get hammered. The only way to stabilize things is to absorb the sell-off. Under normal circumstances, big players and institutions absorbing positions is completely routine, but this time they are being forced into it. They do not even know what happened yet. While absorbing the positions, they are also terrified they are missing something, that someone had inside information and sold for a reason. Should they absorb? Should they not? They end up absorbing anyway, while simultaneously worrying they are wrong, frantically calling everyone they know, and cursing the whole time. When they finally figure out what happened, Victor, you absolute menace, quietly dumping everything without a word. And then they find out why. You needed money for an investment? You put us through all of this, you absolute monster. They flood Victor's phone, and the moment he picks up, they go straight into cursing. Victor knows he is in the wrong, so he just laughs it off. As for the few who ask about the investment, Victor says absolutely nothing. Just because you are curious does not mean I have to bring you along. Competitors are competitors. Why would I help you make money? What are you thinking? Rex's side of things causes far less chaos, but his Wafu Group's properties and commercial spaces are extremely sought after. The moment word gets out that they are going at a discount, buyers scramble despite their skepticism, and the money comes together remarkably fast. On Ms. Zhang's end, she heads straight to the relevant government office to apply for Apex Energy's licenses and permits. As a subsidiary of Apex Tech, which already benefits from numerous preferential policies, things move fast at first, green lights all the way. But once the paperwork is filled out and the approving officer reaches for the stamp with a smile, he stops cold. Primary business, nuclear energy development and sales? There is no precedent for this. The government encourages private investment in nuclear energy companies, but that is very different from letting a private company develop and control it. The clerk stares at Ms. Zhang. He is completely at a loss. I cannot stamp this. He forces a helpless smile. He is genuinely frightened. This stamp should not be stamped. If anything goes wrong after I authorize this, it is my neck on the line. I do not have the authority for this. Ms. Zhang is not surprised. She smiles. That is fine. Could you connect me with your supervisor? Thank you. The clerk exhales with relief. Contact my supervisor, absolutely. Let him handle this hot potato. A moment later, the supervisor arrives. A few minutes after that, the supervisor is also at a complete loss, head buzzing, and says, Ms. Zhang, one moment, let me contact my supervisor. Supervisor after supervisor. Half an hour later, there are 7 or 8 people standing behind the counter, a whole chain of them, each one more senior than the last, each radiating more authority than the one before. The original clerk has been pushed into the corner, trembling quietly. Even the overall director of the department has shown up, and even he is shaking, cold sweat running down his back. It is the middle of June, and the air conditioning is on full blast. No one should be sweating without exertion, and yet every single one of them is drenched, frantically wiping their faces, completely overwhelmed. Director Carr presses a sweat-soaked hand to his forehead, fighting the urge to explode. If anyone else had walked in here with a document like this asking for my stamp, I would have thrown them out already. Actually, if it were anyone else, my own staff would not have even dared to call me in. They would have gotten an earful along with the applicant. But there is no room for that here. Apex Tech is the star company of Shen City right now. On paper, the business looks like a few $100 billion, but everyone knows Apex Tech's future is limitless. If they ever choose to go public, a valuation over $1 trillion is not out of the question. And there are directives from above, within the bounds of the law, full support, green lights all the way. But right now, who dares open that green light? Not me. Whoever has the courage, step up. Director Carr takes a deep breath. There is nothing to be done. I am not the one to approve this. Whoever dares to, go ahead. Director Carr inhales deeply and says with resignation, Ms. Zhang, under normal circumstances, Apex Tech establishing a subsidiary would have our unconditional support. This is an investment in our city after all, and it brings employment opportunities and an influx of talent. But this, nuclear energy licenses and permits, I genuinely do not have the authority. Perhaps you should try going further up the chain. Ms. Zhang had already expected this. She smiles. No rush. Why not hear what our planned initial investment for Apex Energy actually is first? Director Carr blinks, then his heart rate spikes. How much? The first phase, 1 trillion Tang Empire dollars. Ms. Zhang does not even blink. 100 billion only gets you 10% equity, so of course the project valuation is $1 trillion. The room goes silent. When those words land, Director Carr trembles for a long moment. Something ignites in his chest. A bold, reckless energy. This is absolutely a hot potato, the most dangerous kind. But what if it actually works? Setting everything else aside, just this. $1 trillion investment landing in this city. What a legacy that would be. He had already given up on any chance of promotion. But with something like this to his name, maybe not. Forget it. Let's do this. Stamping it myself, I do not have that authority, but I can certainly try to push it through. Ms. Zhang, I have an idea. Director Carr changes his tone. Let me submit an application upward on your behalf. That would be wonderful, thank you. Ms. Zhang rises with a smile. One more thing. Boss Kai wanted me to mention, this will not be Apex Tech alone. There will be several other domestic investors coming in as well, and the military will also be among the major stakeholders. Director Carr's eyes light up the moment he hears that. The military is on board? That changes everything. Completely. At that moment he has just one thought. Why did you not say that from the start?